All right, everyone. Chris here. Thanks for joining me for this update. Big time heat for this weekend and into Monday. We have a weather impact alert day status already in place for this weekend, and we're going to extend it out into Monday as well. These are the rough time frames I'm thinking of, and we're going to run this from 12 to 8 each day. You could give or take an hour here and there, but generally that's what we're looking at. So elevated temperatures and elevated humidity. So we're talking heat index rising to levels that usually we don't see in the month of June all too often. This is typically something reserved more for the second, third, fourth weeks of July and that first week of August. So we're running a little bit ahead of schedule with the bounce back in the humidity. A lot of times we rely on that corn sweat to help us out. Doesn't look to be the case this time. We do have a heat warning and a heat advisory in place across Iowa both days this weekend. The difference between the two is really just negligible. We're talking a couple of degrees for all intents and purposes. Basically, I want you to treat them the same. Heat index potentially as high as 110 across the state. And we're looking at, I think, the most robust setup on Saturday. Slight edge there. Otherwise, we'll take just a little bit off the top end on Sunday and a little bit more on Monday. Actually, the state will be split by a frontal boundary and potentially as much as a 20-degree swing in temperature from north to south. Pretty crazy. So just how early is this? 113 is the highest daily heat index that we've ever seen in the month of June. That goes back to 1933 when we had reliable records of keeping that. And we actually set it in the first year, if you see that number, 1933. But to show you that this is up into rarefied territory, we're expecting something up around 110. So that gets us up there. We haven't seen that all too often in the grand scheme of things. Now that 113 would actually go down as 14th hottest daily heat index that we've ever seen when you account all months, any time frames, July, August into this. So that really shows you this early in the season, it's not all too common. All right, we'll breeze through the currents here at the time of this recording at 5:30 on our Friday evening. Blue sky, temperatures popping. We did have leftover thunderstorms here from this morning creating an outflow boundary. And you can kind of see that trailing line of clouds here as this one loops through right here. That's the outflow. It pushed down a little bit further west than we actually anticipated today, only by about 30, 40 miles. But still that cooled off, especially the eastern sections of Iowa, and prolonged it just a little bit. So not that big robust heat east of I-35 today, but tomorrow you're in on it. It is sweltering, though, when it comes to the dew points. Anytime you get mid to upper 70s, that is air you can wear territory. So it is pushing us up into triple digits for the heat index. Already on this Friday evening, Sheraton, Des Moines, Perry points to the west and south dealing with the hottest of the conditions. Now tonight is 78 degrees. In fact, I have a little bit of a typo here. The record high low temperature is actually 77 degrees. There it updates on your screen. So this is getting into record territory. We don't often talk about these warm overnight lows this time of year just yet. Of course, that corresponds a lot to the moisture component in the corn that would typically helps us boost those numbers up in July. On that note, record high low temperatures in jeopardy Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. By Tuesday, I think we're seeing a rain-cooled influence there that will really put those records out of reach. Back up to 97 on Saturday, and in case you're wondering, that record high is 103, and I think that's going to be safe. That heat index, though, could be as high as 110. Here is a look at the temperatures that are expected on Saturday, and we have temps into the mid and upper 90s. Don't know why the colors didn't show up, but they didn't, and we'll be similar again on Sunday, perhaps a slight edge, though, to the first day in the weekend. Muggy meter is up there, sticky into that steamy range, and that will bleed over into Monday. So let's go into the heat index. This is the breakdown for your community, as you see on the map here, anywhere from 105 to 110 as we look at our Saturday forecast, and then slightly cooler on Sunday, but still looking at triple digits. Okay, so take a look at this setup here. This is the mid and upper levels in our atmosphere. A big ridge of high pressure this weekend. It kind of pivots its way to the southeast a little bit. We have this big ridge riding right along it is the jet stream. Notice it's close enough to Iowa. This is laden with small little disturbance, zooming along it, back to back to back, really on the daily level, almost a constant level. So with it being in close proximity, we are going to be talking about a frontal boundary kind of draped across the state really all week long as you continue to see things tick by, at least through Friday. And then that jet does lift northwards ever so slightly. I think we'll get a little bit of a break as we at least move closer to the weekend, maybe next Friday. But watch this front incoming. We could start to see the first little instances of rain, showers, thunderstorms early Monday morning. But I think into the afternoon and evenings where it's at really on a daily level. So this cold front is dipping down here. This is that split I was talking about across the state. There's going to be some hot, muggy conditions in the afternoon leading up to this front drifting south. And I think we get triple-digit heat indices before this rain does develop and push in. So we have showers and thunderstorms along this. I will have to watch just to see how strong to severe these storms can be. And again, this is going to be on a daily level. I'm only taking out to Tuesday afternoon. That front actually lifts back northwards just a little bit. But we still have rain in play. And so do we get a chance to clear up in the morning to recharge? So many question marks, and I really don't want to look beyond really Sunday night into Monday night just yet, because so much is reliant on what happens the night prior. You get a lingering thunderstorm, it can stall that frontal boundary out and completely shift where that rain is going to end up being. So it is kind of a trickle-down effect. I do think I see the ingredients here that could make for some strong thunderstorms, but the details are still just too hazy. I don't want to put any weather impact days on it just yet at this juncture. But with rain around on the daily level, it certainly does take the top end off those temperatures ever so slightly. And I think we see that manifesting on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If we don't see anything develop at all, we could easily shoot back up in the 90s once again and talk about those heat index being pretty pesky once again. So on the daily level, it is going to be a lot of rainfall. Particularly anytime you're talking about a frontal boundary stalling out, it kind of piques your interest for too much rain when thunderstorms are involved. So I'll be watching that. If I'm really going to pinpoint an area, it's going to be the northwestern half of Iowa that I'd really watch for this, but still just way too early to be discussing stuff like that at this point. No doubt I'm going to be tracking it to see if we need any more weather impact alert days. For now, we're focused in on the heat. We have a little bit more time to diagnose the other aspect, the stormy aspect. But this is going to be a classic ring of fire scenario. So that big dome of high pressure along it, you see the thunderstorms erupt, that ring of fire. So that's what we're dealing with going into next week. I would expect plenty of rain chances, plenty of warm and muggy conditions at least through the end of the week. And then if you saw on that 10-day forecast, it does kind of temper a little bit by next weekend. I hope you have ways to stay cool this weekend. Stay hydrated. Take breaks if you have to be outside, especially so if you are susceptible, if you have children, elderly parents, or neighbors. And also, if you're working out in these conditions, pay attention to your body because it can become so dangerous so very quickly. Everyone stay cool and stay safe this weekend. Take care.